Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the San Antonio Football Network, the Caballeros Conexion edition. Thank you all so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. In this video, I have a very, very special treat for you today. He is the general manager and head coach of the soon-to-be IFA champion San Antonio Caballeros. Please welcome Hal Mumme. All right, good evening, Coach. Thank you for joining me tonight.
I'm happy to do it, RJ. Thanks for having us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So my first question is that, Coach, with the whole debacle with Baltimore went down, I reached out to Mr. Fohey to get a statement from him, and he mentioned that he had stepped down as the owner and essentially turned over the keys to the kingdom to you. And then I noticed in a statement released by the IFA after your tryouts that they address you as part owner of the team. So I just want to confirm that you are indeed at least part owner of the team.
Yeah, I own 70% at this point.
Wow.
And Mr. Foy was very generous. He had some personal issues that were going to prevent him from, being able to oversee the team and do what he needed to do. And so back in mid-November, he called me. We had lunch, and he said, I'm just going to sign it over to you. So that's what he did.
Oh, okay.
And but he's a good guy. I told him the door is always open if he ever wants to come back and clean up, get free of the issues he has, then
Yes, sir.
We'll bring him back. But right now I'm the owner, and I've got several others that are part owners.
Excellent. Because I was just wondering, how can you juggle all these responsibilities? I mean, you're the co-owner, a general manager, head coach. I mean, it seems like you wear a lot of hats. So how are you balancing all these jobs?
Well, what I did was I brought on a good staff, and so my title is president and head football coach, and I appointed Jack Welch, who's a longtime friend, and we've coached together before. He was at East Texas A&M recently. Before that, he was at my old high school at Coppers Cove for like 24 years. So he knows a lot of the people in the state. So I made him the general manager.
Okay.
And he's also going to coach our special teams. And then his brother Tracy, who was with him all those years, also came from East Texas, and we made him assistant GM for administration. And I made Stan Bedwell assistant GM for personnel. And then I appointed a fellow named Brian Billick, not the coach,
Right.
but he is a longtime San Antonio general manager of radio stations and advertising. He's got a wealth of knowledge in the advertising world. And so Brian's our vice president for marketing. And then we have a team of people that are working with him that are out selling ads and sponsorships and tickets and the whole deal. So
excellent.
I'm kind of juggling. I'm keeping everybody in their lane. My job is to keep them in their lanes and go do their jobs and get them prodded. But they're doing a wonderful job so far. They're out working in the community. We're doing a lot of community outreach.
Yes.
We want to be the team in San Antonio that's a spring summer football league that actually stays for more than 2 or 3 years.
Yes.
So that's our goal. So we're not going to do this just during football season. We're going to work at it all year round. I met with one of the Metro Chamber of Commerce yesterday. Had a great meeting with those guys. I've been just running, doing meetings everywhere.
Nice. Well, it sounds like you have a good team that's surrounding you, because I mean, it does take a lot of people to run a football team.
Well, it does, and we've got my wife Jacqueline's working real hard in it too. She's kind of overseeing the cheerleader, getting ready to hire a cheerleader sponsor, and she's also doing some sales.
Excellent.
But we're, it's a labor of love, and like my protege Sonny Dyke said a couple of years ago, we're kind of building this airplane as we're flying
it. Right. Okay, so let's get into the open tryouts that just happened on February 15th.
Yeah.
So I understand that it drew a good number of participants. So what were your primary goals for evaluating at that
Well,
event?
we wanted to get a lot of local players, and we've got about a dozen signed that are from like Austin, San Antonio, Houston area, Dallas, Fort Worth, kind of in that I-35 corridor and I-10 corridor. And so we invited those guys who we've already signed to come after the deal. And then we had the workout in the morning, and we had 20, I believe it was 23 players showed up, which is a low number. Normally, I've been doing this for 2 years, and normally our tryout camps draw about 40 or 50. But this time we had of the 23 that showed up, we invited about a dozen of them back in the afternoon to work out with our players. And so then we had a great 7-on-7 period for about an hour, and got to look at some, and we signed about, I think, 4 of them.
Yes, I didn't notice that there was 4 players who signed. What, two wide receivers?
Yeah, 2 wide receivers and a
Kicker and a punter.
and I think we're going to sign a DB out of that group too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So it was one of the lighter attended tryouts we've had for the league, but it was one of the best one in terms of athletes.
Yeah, sounds very productive.
There's also a number of athletes we're not going to sign them, but we can assign their names to the draft pool. So we could end up drafting them March 21st, 22nd. We have that, and other teams will have a shot at them too.
Okay. So, what specific qualities or skills were you and your coaching staff looking for in the players who attended the tryout?
Well, we took a little different approach. Most of these tryouts, they've done the typical 40-yard dash, shuttle, and all that kind of stuff. I just told them right up front, look, guys, we got 115 days till camp starts. I'm just looking for football players, so we're just going to do football drills. So we did that for about an hour and kind of judged them, and then did some routes on air with the receivers. Coach Welch took the kickers and the snappers and worked them out. And then and the DBs, Coach Salinas took the DBs, did the same thing with him. And then when we came back after lunch, our players showed up, and then we were able to have a really good 7-on-7 session.
Excellent.
So we just judged them in football moves is what we did.
Yes, sir. So, were there any surprising stand-up performances from the open try that caught your attention?
Yeah, the guys we signed, I think, stood out. They did. There's a fellow named Major Martin, who's a slot receiver, and he really had a great day. And we signed him, and we now have Lieutenant Jeff in the secondary and Major Martin with the receivers. So we're ready for marching orders.
Nice. So, how difficult was it for you to narrow down the pool of talent from the open try to those who will be invited to training camp?
It was because we got to compare them against some of the guys we've already invited. It wasn't that hard. I mean, you could judge them and you'd say, yeah, they're holding their own, they're competing, so let's sign them.
Okay. So, what role do you feel open tryouts play in building a competitive team in a new league like the IFA?
Well, we've been doing it for 2 years, and like I said, normally we get about 50 to 70 guys show up, and we sign maybe 3 for the whole league. You know, so this one was inordinately talented group, and I told them that after it was over. I said, "This is the best tryout I've been to," and so it's usually a little thinner than what it was Saturday.
Yeah. Now I know you just say that there were several local players, and so local San Antonians did seem to represent pretty well in the tryout.
Yeah, Jeremy Scott, one of our quarterbacks we signed, was there. Quintavious Workman, one of our wide receivers, was there. Devin Childress, who has played for me before in the spring league, he's actually a DFW guy, but he came down and really put on a good show. We had some linemen there. Our centers and tackles were able to work some. Blaine Hoover did a real good job, as did Dazion, our center from North Texas.
Excellent. So we'll move on to the upcoming season. So the IFA just released their revised schedule, and I noticed that instead of opening the season at home like the original schedule was, you're now playing on the road to face the Ohio Valley Ironmen. So does this change anything in your preparation at all?
No, not really. We're gonna try. We try to go through and make every week the same, whether we're on the road or at home. and we really work at that. I learned that a long time ago from Bill Walsh, and that's how he won all the Super Bowls and had such a great winning streak on the road in the NFL. And so I just copied that, and we're going to do that. And it doesn't matter who we play or where we play.
Yes, sir. So also with the original schedule, you were not going to play the Chihuahua Rebellion in
Right.
Mexico, but
Right.
now with the new schedule, you will. So
Yeah.
what are your thoughts about playing in Mexico?
Oh, I'm for it. I mean, we planned on having more Mexico teams originally when we first started this 3 years ago. It just didn't work out where they had the support they needed, so we went with Chihuahua. But we're looking forward to playing them. We now have a East and West division with 3 teams in each, so they're in our division. So we'll play everybody twice in our division.
Excellent. East West Division. Nice. Okay. So with also the new schedule, there are 2 teams that you'll only be playing once.
Yeah.
On the road against Tampa and at home against Alabama, while the other teams you'll play them twice, one at home and one at on the road. So I mean, are you disappointed at all that you're only going to be playing Tampa and Alabama once?
No, not really. I mean, we got 8 games. Our schedule runs from May 31st until July 26th, and then we have the 2 weeks of playoffs after that.
Yes, sir.
But the purpose of this league is we're like AA or AAA baseball. We want these guys to come in here, be able to get 8 games of good film that NFL scouts can look at and say, yeah, I want to sign that guy. And most of these guys have been in either NFL or CFL camps, and they, for whatever reason, didn't stick. So, but they feel like they're good enough to play and want to give it another shot. So that's what our league's for.
Yes, sir.
And playing 8 games is pretty reasonable. And our camp, our season ends before the NFL camps close. So if they need to sign somebody, if they lose somebody to injury and stuff like that, now they've got a source they can look at and pull somebody up.
Outstanding.
We've got an NFL official that's going to be our conference commissioner official, so our officiating will be a copy of the NFL as well.
Excellent. So I noticed that the unique thing about the IFA is that they have a league-wide bye week in week 4, so halfway through the season. So do you like having the idea of having a bye week in the halfway point of the season for the entire league?
Yeah, some of our coaches and some of our GMs have been in the Canadian League, and they do that up there, and so we kind of copied them on that.
Okay. Now, with the inaugural IFA season approaching, what are your expectations for the Caballeros?
Well, we have 4 home games, 2 in July and 2 in June. We want to make it a festival out there at UIW Stadium, and music and food and drink and just a great, fiesta type atmosphere before the game, and then put on a great show. And my wife is working on recruiting the cheerleaders right now, so we're going to have cheerleaders and a DJ to keep everybody involved in the game. We'll have a lot of family friendly kind of little skits and gags and stuff like that in between when there's downtimes in play.
Nice.
Yeah, it'll be a fun time. We're going to start selling season tickets around March the 1st. We'll announce that in a few days. And we just want to. It's going to be very, very cheap tickets. I think the best thing going is if you join the Amigos, our booster club, for $360, you get 4 season tickets, and you get all the free food and drink you want in our VIP tent before the game. So nice. pretty good bargain, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
also free
Amigos Club, you said, right?
Yeah. It's called the Amigos, and we've got people out talking to businesses and individuals right now about joining. And it's we give them there's a few other perks with it too, but that's the gist of it. Okay. So, I think it's a good bargain, and that's kind of what this level of football's about. I mean, you can bring your kids out to a game, and it won't cost you $1,000.
Right. Okay. So, how is the team progressing in your mind in terms of building chemistry and understanding your offensive system?
I think most of them, we've recruited a lot of guys that have been air raid guys in the past, and so I think they're going to be fine. We're doing our offense coordinator Stan Bedwell, and he's doing a lot of Zoom meetings with players now.
Mhm.
And then probably in late April we'll have some more OTAs and get guys in. But our training camp starts May 15th. We'll have 10 days, and then we have game week. So we'll get about 15 workouts in 10 days. So we're training at Somerset High School, where Coy Detmer's the head coach and AD. He's a longtime friend of ours, and we look forward to being down there with him for that period.
Okay. So, what are the key strengths of the Caballeros as you see them right now?
Um, I think we've got a great group of receivers and running backs, and we've got some experienced quarterbacks, and then we got two young guys that are real competitive, and so that'll be an interesting deal there. We just signed Will Arndt to play quarterback for us, and he's 30 years old, and he's started games in Canada at several locations, Ottawa, and I believe the other one is BC, and
Mhm.
he's got a great arm, and he's got a great presence in the pocket. He's a big guy; he can see the field, and but it's not his job right now. He's got to earn the camp. So there's the other guy, Nate Hayden, is also a big guy. Played in Germany last year. We've coached him before, so he knows the system already.
Excellent.
And then Jeremy Scott was out there Saturday, put on a good show. He's kind of like Nate, and then we got another older guy named Chris Barrett who's been around a lot of these alternative leagues,
Mhm.
and he's a mature guy, and he throws a good ball, and he's a real heady guy. So it'll be a good competition. We'll probably end up keeping three.
Excellent. All right. So, what do you see are the biggest challenges you anticipate facing the IFA's inaugural season?
Well, I think all the owners are like me and they're in the same boat. We got to do a good job with sponsorships and season tickets and all that
Mhm.
sort of stuff. And you can put a great team together, but you still have to pay the bills.
Right.
So those things are really important to us. And anybody that wants to help should reach out to us. We've got they can reach us on our social media at SA_Caballeros. We're on all the sites, Facebook, Twitter, the whole lot. And we also, our website is up now. You can go on there too, and it's San Antonio SACaballeros.com.
Okay. That's awesome.
So buy a ticket, buy some merch, come out to the games, have a good time. We'll have a lot of entertainment for you. It'll be a fun Saturday night in San Antonio.
Excellent. Yes, that's outstanding. I know I've been looking forward to the website, and yeah,
Yeah, it
just
should be up. It should
just
be up
see
tomorrow
it.
or this evening. I'm not sure. I met with them yesterday, and they were going to get it up in the next 24 to 48 hours.
All right. Yeah, actually, it looks like we have it. They have it up
Yeah,
now.
yeah, looks like it is up. Okay, I've been so
Yeah.
busy that I haven't had time to look.
Nice. That is
Yeah,
awesome.
I can see some of our players on there. We'll post some highlight reels of some of our guys we've signed, and of course, information about how to come to the games.
That is outstanding. That is really, really good. All right. So, now, how are you balancing the excitement of a new season with the need to build a solid foundation for the team's future?
Well, it's just like building all the places I've been. I've done this many times. I think I did all my other jobs so I could do this one. And you know, we took over Iowa Wesley, and they had no players, no fans, and no money, and we turned them around the first year, and Mike Leach and I ended up getting them in the national playoffs the only time that in the history of the school. And we did the same thing at Valdosta State. Kentucky was a little different animal. They already had everything in place in terms of money and marketing, but you still had to build a team. They didn't have a very good team.
Mhm.
And Southeast Louisiana, we built that program from scratch. They hadn't had football in 30 years. Started
Wow.
that. So It's kind of a lot of the same skill sets that I did at those jobs that we had to do.
Okay. So, what are your thoughts on the level of competition with the other teams in the IFA?
I think it's going to be a pretty balanced deal, and we have some great coaches that are going to be in the league. Uh,
Hmm.
Manny Matsakis is really good at Ohio Valley. Our first game, that'll be a big challenge. Um, but I think I think it'll be fairly balanced. I mean, you look at these guys; they're all 23 to 30 years old, and they've been around the block a couple of times trying to be pros, and
Hmm.
a lot of them have ended up in arena ball. And arena ball is a fun game to watch, but it doesn't translate very good to the NFL. So
Right.
the scouts just kind of ignore it, and the guys that don't make their first NFL tryout or their CFL tryout, they kind of tend to get pushed aside because the next wave of players is coming in. So there's really a great need for this league, and we're playing NFL rules with NFL type officials, and we've got a few international players on our team, and the
Mhm.
good news is we're going to be on TV all over the world.
Yes.
We've signed a deal with the New Zealand All Blacks, the great rugby team from New Zealand. They have their own
Oh,
production company and TV channels, so they're going to do our games in New Zealand and Australia. We're on 100. We're in 100 million homes in America, and at least half that many in Mexico. So they're going to get a lot of attention.
that's outstanding. That's outstanding.
Well, our league owner Jason Adams has done a great job of reeling in TV.
Right.
Mostly it's like this start, and then they start playing, and then they go and beg the TV or pay the TV people to try to televise. And we did the opposite way. We got the TV first, and then started the league.
Yes. All right. Now, how do you plan on to engage with the San Antonio community and build a strong fan base for the Caballeros? I noticed that you have been doing the out and abouts, and they've been posting on Facebook and stuff. Do you have any other engagements in the community that are coming up?
Yeah, we had a meet and greet in November at the Menger, so a lot of our players came. We invited the fans. Had a bunch of fans show up. Probably 25 or 30 people showed up.
Mhm.
Served them free drinks and told them what we were doing. And we're going to do it again in March. We're setting that up right now. We're going to try and do it in March, April, and May,
Okay.
leading up to training camp. And we've got. I'm doing a lot of speaking engagements. Like I said, I spoke in Kerrville last night at Shriner, and I'm doing some more. I'm going to see a lot of people personally too. And we're reaching out to all the people that get the word out for you. Like I said, I met with the Metro Chamber yesterday, and we're going to join that, and we'll be involved with that group here. I'm involved with David Glasgow's group, which is a charitable deal. Um, and we met with Big Brothers and Big Sisters last week. We want to do outreach for all the bigs and littles and kill kids in those situations, and and it's a deal where you just got to reach out to them.
Yes, sir. All
Excuse me,
right.
I'm interference there.
No problem.
Hope you can cut that out.
Yes. All right. So the last bit of questions I had, you already covered most of it. It was just again updates on when tickets will be available for
Yeah.
this, and you said around March 1st it should be going around on sale.
Yes.
Okay. And what you said that the Amigos is $364.
It's $360.
Three hundred
You get
sixty.
four
Okay.
tickets. There's a decal for if you're a business, you can put it in your storefront. If you're not, you can put it on your car or whatever that tells everybody you're in the club. And then there's some gear you get and four season tickets, and they get free drinks and food at the VIP tent.
Okay. And so what price range are you looking for, like single game tickets?
Probably around $10. We're working on that right now. It's gonna be somewhere between 8 and 12 for
Okay.
the general admission tickets.
Wow. So fans are able to watch NFL style football and some high quality, talented players for
Yep.
really, really affordable prices.
I think so. When I was in the spring league in 21, we won the championship, and we put 17 of our 38 players in either NFL or CFL kickers, and some other good teams. So we think we can do the same thing here.
Okay. And merchandise, what
Yeah,
could you have some of the merchandise?
when that website you showed a while ago, that should be a link on that. I'm not sure if it's up now, but it will be shortly, and they can order. We're going to have all sorts of merchandise they can get.
Okay, excellent, excellent. I did want to circle back real quick. So we talked about this is going to be NFL style football. Are you going to be implementing the dynamic kickoff like the NFL does, or is it going to be the
We
more old
we we
school?
have made a commitment as the league to play NFL rules. So whatever their rules are, that's ours.
Okay.
So yeah, well, I guess we will. I know a lot of people don't like that. I was involved in it when they first tried it in the first XFL in
Mm-hmm.
20, and I think it probably does save on wear and tear on the players, because a lot of those kicks just end up being dead balls. So,
Right.
and
Yeah.
when I was with the Renegades with Bob Stoops in 20, we actually had the only kick. Of course, we only played half a season because of COVID,
Right.
but we had the only return for a touchdown on our team.
Right. I mean, me personally, I do like the dynamic kickoff or the XFL style kickoff.
Yeah,
It's kind of weird at first when you watch it, but surprisingly for me, I got used to it very quickly.
yeah. It's I think a lot of fans are it just looks odd to them,
Right.
and they don't really understand the rules. So, but yeah, whatever the NFL, if they change, we'll change too. So,
All right.
we're trying to get these guys ready to go to NFL camp, so they need to know how to play all the NFL rules.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we're gearing up for the IFA draft, which is in March,
Yes,
and that's in what, Huntington or
Huntsville, Alabama.
Huntsville. That's right, in Alabama. So
Yeah,
uh, all prepared for that. What
yeah. Well, there's 8 rounds. We've already signed 55 players, so we're not really looking for that many more. So we'll probably do it virtually.
okay,
Um,
okay,
but yeah, they're going to have some international guys that a lot of people don't know about. We've got 2 internationals so far, and they're both good players. Both of them played at Power 5 schools, and that's the kind. There's no rules on having to play an international or how many you got to have on the team or anything like that. But we want to do the outreach. So
okay.
we've got a kicker from Scotland that kicked at OU, and we've got a corner from Ivory Coast of Africa that played at University of Florida.
Oh, okay, excellent.
Yeah, but it's not it's not a deal like Canada where they say you got to have 6 Canadians on the field on every play, and they keep that. We're not going to do any of that. It's just okay. These guys are international players. They're good enough to be on the team, and we're going to give them a shot. But
Okay,
they got to earn their playing time.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I think that's all the questions I had for you tonight, Coach. I greatly
Thanks,
appreciate
RJ.
you for taking the time out of your very busy schedule to talk to me, and I look forward to the the future meet and greets that you have planned. So
Yeah,
we'll get the
we'll
word
get the
out.
word out on those soon.
Yes, sir.
Brian will put it on our website and let everybody know, and we'll have a good time and talk some more ball.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Coach. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, RJ.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
the
All
cover.
right.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much. Bye
Yes,
bye.
sir. Bye bye. And that was Hal Mumme, head coach of the soon to be IFA champion San Antonio Caballeros. I want to thank him again for taking time out to join me on the show. If you found this video to be informative and entertaining, please let me know by hitting that like button below. And if you happen to stumble upon this video while searching YouTube and you found it be interesting, you'd like to know more, consider subscribing to my channel to keep up to date on all things San Antonio Caballeros. Also, with the San Antonio Brahmas of the UFL and the San Antonio Gunslingers of the IFL. Well, I think it's time for this cabaya to be put into the corral, at least until the next episode. Until then, San Antonio, montemos. Let's ride.